We at the Congregational Development Ministry promote different outreach programs to bring in new people, programs to cultivate them, and systems to train new devotees. So we find that the Bhakti Vriksha system, they have everything to contact new people, to take care of them, to train them, and to do the same themselves with new people once again. So it's a complete cycle. My experience so far is that when the leaders invest time and energy into Bhakti Vriksha, they have always received much more in return.
Thank you very much to answer.
My name is Vijay Venugopal Das, and my wife and I were one of the first few to start implementing the Bhakti Vriksha system. So we came to this place in 1988 basically to earn money and get back and live a comfortable life in India. But to our surprise, we got something entirely different and the whole direction of our life changed. Initially, we started having small programs in our house. We used to read Bhagavad Gita verse and purports, and a few people somehow came. At that time, we had maybe about 100 devotees, out of whom about 10 or 15 were very serious. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami once said that there is another way of preaching, and maybe we could do this in ISKCON also. Having programs in small groups in a friendly atmosphere with a specific structure, we had to evolve that structure. But the point of these groups was that people were coming on the basis of friendship. And then through this friendship, they would start slowly discovering Krishna consciousness. We took the first group of committed devotees and we said, okay, each of you now start a group. And now these were devotees who had only been used to attending classes. They knew nothing else. But when we discussed how this could be done, they took to it enthusiastically.
We didn't have any structured knowledge about the philosophy, about the scriptures. We were not initiated, but we were asked to preach. We were the first members of Bhakti Vriksha program. We started in a small way in our house.
And then every few months, our spiritual master used to come over here, and then he used to discuss with us what's going on, how to correct things. And in this way, it evolved. And then there was a massive expansion after that. And very rapidly, within another 5 years, from 100, we got to about 2,000 devotees.
Krishna consciousness means not just aware of Krishna in the temple. We want to satisfy Krishna through our dealings with everyone. Because if we forget him, then we'll try to put our best behavior only when people are watching. But Krishna knows everything. So if you are aware of him, you cannot do any wrong.
So we are observing this wonderful occasion of Bhakti Vriksha completing 20 years. What a wonderful journey it's been so far. Many hundreds and thousands of devotees come in contact with Krishna conscious process by going through this wonderful program. All over the world, people who understand common language or not, and this process has such helped them to transform their lives in such a short span of time. Huge impact. How do we give something back to the organization? This is an opportunity for all of us to join hands together to thank Srila Prabhupada.
As we can understand, the Bhakti Vriksha program is a very practical and beneficial way of expanding Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. After 20 years, there are many tangible results that have helped Srila Prabhupada's movement, ISKCON, to grow and become more and more established in many parts of the world. The first benefit that we want to mention is that it fulfills the 7 purposes of ISKCON as stated by Srila Prabhupada. The first one refers to propagating spiritual knowledge. The modules of Bhakti Vriksha are based on the teachings that Srila Prabhupada gives in his main books, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is spiritual education, the training and encouragement that Bhakti Vriksha gives to its members, reaches also one of the main purposes that Srila Prabhupada pointed out that ISKCON is meant for, the unity of not only devotees but humanity at large. All this encompasses the main desire that was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction to facilitate the chanting of the holy name. In a very practical way also, Bhakti Vriksha has helped to develop or create different holy places around the world, not only in India, not only in the main projects of ISKCON, but in the main places where Bhakti Vriksha is established as home programs. This also with the characteristics of enabling their participants to live a simple life and to promote Krishna consciousness through books, magazines, and other publications. So in this way we see how Bhakti Vriksha has helped to increase exponentially the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books.
But when Bhakti Vriksha was actually started here, the devotees started picking up books from the temple, and then we started going to different temples and distribute books. And we hit up something like 25,000, 23,000 plus in one time. And then in a small temple group, we actually were number one in that area.
And also provide substantial financial support to local ISKCON temples and international projects such as TOBP and others. In this way, we see how Bhakti Vriksha becomes the main source of manpower to local and international projects.
The management started working on the training process, and they started implementing the Bhakti Vriksha process. And that way we increased the congregation from about 1,000 to 3,000.
And it overall supports the preaching and the expansion of the movement. And one great characteristic of Bhakti Vriksha is that self-sustained. Generally when temples want to open projects, initiatives, programs, it needs to provide funds, manpower, etc. But in this way, the Bhakti Vriksha program only depends on the ability, on the capacity, and the resources of grihastas. It's very adaptable and versatile and can expand anywhere and everywhere. Could be just one person who takes it up in one single apartment, or in a very busy city, or in a faraway town.
Bhakti Vriksha is very simple by nature. It's very sublime, very dynamic. I use the word simple because anybody can come, participate in this program.
So in this way, it also had allowed us to expand in places where devotees had to preach in an underground capacity, like China, Russia, and Middle East, and other places. In practical terms, Bhakti Vriksha has made nearly 25,000 devotees. This is in 20 years, and it's growing even stronger. It has the presence in 45 countries and 90 cities. And according to the reports, it's expanding more and more.
21 years, just can't believe it. How 21 years have passed in this wonderful journey of Bhakti Vriksha. I can say that how Bhakti Vriksha has had such a great impact in devotees' lives who have just come to Krishna consciousness. I can see that since I have come to Krishna consciousness before Bhakti Vriksha, I can see that how Bhakti Vriksha is playing a great role in helping the people advance systematically in Krishna consciousness. This has been a wonderful journey for us, where we have witnessed amazing things happening in different people's lives. How people are touched. It's just not a single person taking up to Krishna consciousness. It's families which are taking up to the process. So it gives a great amount of satisfaction.
Also, utilizing the trend, the current trend of spreading information and knowledge through the social media, Bhakti Vriksha members are able to, through Skype, through WhatsApp, through Facebook, expand their activities. Practically also, it gives us a very stronghold of support in different countries, because the connections, the circle of connections that the different Bhakti Vriksha members and their relatives, friends, neighbors, peers can help the devotees to have a solid standing in their preaching in the different jatras, temples, etc. So now this is not something independent, it's something that Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself started over than 100 years ago. He himself personally established around 500 Bhakti Vriksha groups in 3 states in India, Bihar, West Bengal, and Orissa. He was just simply following Lord Nityananda's instruction to start this small group or small cell in the form of Bhakti Vriksha more than 500 years ago as instructed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj, who's a congregation preaching minister also. One time he told me, don't expect everybody to come to temple. You should take temple to their houses. And he said, because is it everybody is staying 20 kilometers? You expect it 20 kilometers every Sunday he come to the temple? No.
This way we have expanded greatly in different countries. China, for example, is a great example, one of the latest powerhouses of Krishna consciousness, and we have several testimonies of these preachers and devotees who have been touched by the influence of this program. One of them said, this Bhakti Vriksha program is not only practical and efficient to apply in our daily life, but also helpful to others' spiritual growth. It's not only limited to learn and share knowledge, but also to give care to others. Another one says, Bhakti Vriksha shows greatest strength with its systematical, reproductive, flexible, and practical characteristics. Yet another one explains, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted that the Sankirtan movement will flourish everywhere in the world. And one day I believe this will be possible also in China. I am very motivated to be a qualified instrument and a servant of this Bhakti Vriksha group. Another testimony of the Chinese devotees, one becomes motivated to grow and becomes very interested in learn more and more. This enables members to be more dependent on building a strong teamwork and entered into the loving atmosphere in the association of devotees. Every time we finish a program, the devotees hate to leave the association of those devotees.
We started 2 outreach programs in different parts of Bangalore. The concept is that we have about 4 or 5 week programs, and from that we induct these members into Bhakti Vriksha.
Bhakti Vriksha is providing a platform for reaching out to many devotees. It creates a platform for the engagement of the devotees, it creates a platform for bringing in new devotees and also reaching out to many people.
Bhakti Vriksha is becoming so powerful day by day. We are seeing how congregation are enjoying this. Bhakti Vriksha is the future for the entire ISKCON society.
So in this way we see that many devotees have benefited from this program. And we have one of our great leaders in ISKCON, Bhakti Charu Swami, who expresses the importance of Bhakti Vriksha in the following words. He says, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has predicted that Krishna consciousness will spread in every town and village of the world. And to fulfill that prophecy, he sent Srila Prabhupada. By his tireless efforts, today Krishna consciousness has actually spread around the entire world. Now we should see how can we continue with this preaching more systematically and in an organized way. And therefore, Srila Jayapataka Swami has designed this Bhakti Vriksha program. This program helps devotees to progress in spiritual life systematically in a united and disciplined manner. Bhakti Vrikshas are now recognized and accepted everywhere in the world. Thousands of people are getting the unique opportunity to progress in Krishna consciousness through this program. I am very much thankful to all of you who are engaged in preaching Bhakti Vriksha and thus helping ISKCON to be more and more successful. I express my heartfelt gratitude, best wishes, and many thanks to the initiators and organizers of this Bhakti Vriksha program. I am thankful to those who are tirelessly working for the spiritual progress of others. Please come forward. Together let us, through ISKCON preaching, spread Krishna consciousness and make the entire world most auspicious. Let us give the opportunity to people of the world to have a most blissful way of life. And at the end, giving them the opportunity to go back home, back to Godhead.
my perspective from a Bhakti Vriksha family point of view, what comes to mind is all the love and care and attention which I am getting. Even though my parents are all the time into Bhakti Vriksha and are preaching to so many people, cultivating them, the whole system is in such a way that I never experienced any lack of love or care. So there's constantly devotees surrounding me, and then I watched people grow up from when they were new bhaktas to become leaders and then to become yatra leaders. So the whole growth is such a nice and wonderful experience to me that from the time I'm young, I've been watching this. So it has been an inspiration to me, and it has become my commitment so that I can also start preaching and preach to all the youth and try to help them experience the same love and care which I had experienced.
And as we can see, that this is the importance of celebrating this essential way of preaching Bhakti Vriksha after 20 years of success and helping ISKCON to become more and more stronger and facilitate Srila Prabhupada's mission.
Because through the Bhakti Vriksha program, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy and Srila Prabhupada's message is reaching out to large numbers of people. With the large numbers of small groups like this, there is personal attention given to every devotee, there is personalized care and training, and plus all these groups together grow very rapidly. It's definitely a very, very important step forward. It's authorized. It was started by none other than Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and I would commend all the devotees involved in the Bhakti Vriksha program, and I would pray to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada that this program may grow from strength to strength, and that the devotees who are engaged in these activities may also be suitably empowered. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.